welcome to the chaos and happy Sunday. Today for this video, I figured I'm just going to do something kind of simple and relaxed. I just had a market yesterday, and normally right after the market, I would go ahead and do a market recap video, but I'm just kind of feeling tired today. I had to get up at 4:30 yesterday morning in order to leave in time to get to the market because I needed to be there at 6 to set up, and it takes about an hour to get there. So it was a very early start to my day. And I had every intention of sleeping in this morning, but it just wasn't in the cards for me. A small person had some tummy trouble in the middle of the night and wound up in my bed for the rest of the evening. So I was up at about 3:30 and didn't really get back to sleep after that. Just kind of dozed a little bit, but didn't really fall asleep. So second really early morning in a row for me, and I'm just kind of tired. But I still want to get some work done. I'm just going to relax and crochet for today, but I figured I would bring you guys along for my plan for the day. So I am going to be working for the next several weeks just on probably Ren Faire stuff. I might throw in some Pokemon too, just because they're really popular, and I figure those will still go at Ren Faire also. But I have enough stock for all my other markets, I feel like, between now and Ren Faire. So I'm just going to be focusing on building up the Ren Faire specific stuff for right now. And the first thing I'm going to make, I've already made several of, but I want to make a bunch of, are the little mushroom buddies. It's the Magnolia Mushroom pattern by Madeline Mae Co, who, as you guys know, if you've seen very many of my videos, is like one of my current favorite pattern designers to make things from. I have two of them made, two of the bodies made already that I finished off that skein of Parfait plush that I had bought. This is in the color Toffee. So I had gotten 3 skeins a while ago to give it a try. I got the Toffee, I got white, and I got Sage, I think is what the green color is called. And I made a mushroom boy specifically out of it to start with, and then I used up a lot of the rest of the white on some like ghosts and things like that. But I thought the Toffee would also work as mushroom bodies, just slightly different variation of color. So I went ahead and finished off the Toffee with 2 more mushroom bodies. And I have a little bit, like a little ball of it left, this much. So not a lot. I don't know exactly what I'll do with this, but I'm just going to set it aside and we'll deal with it later. But I figured what I would do is I also have this one skein of burnout blanket. I think this is sand. Yes, burnout blanket in sand, not baby sand, just regular sand. And it is the older formula, so it's a little bit on the dense side. So I may have to size up my hook to a 7. So these guys might be slightly bigger than the other ones. But I wanted to see just how many more little mushy guy bodies I could get out of one skein of burnout. And then once I have all the bodies made, I'm just going to kind of go to town with the cap colors. So there'll be all different colors. Might even do some variegated yarn colored caps. I think currently I have a brown, a green, and maybe, do I have a red? Did I do a red? I know I have brown and green. I don't remember if I did red. I might have. I'll have to look in the bag again to see. But yeah, so I've got these 2 guys, which won't count to the total, obviously, for this. But then I'll see how many more I can get out of this one. And then we'll just see. We'll just go crazy with the mushroom cap colors. So for now, I'm going to get working on these guys, and I will check in with y'all once I have however many I can get out of this. And then we'll pick cap colors. So that's going to be today's video, and I will check in with you in a little bit. Okay, so I got the first one done. And as you can see, because the yarn is a little bit stiffer, I did wind up using the 7mm hook. It did turn out a little bit bigger than the Parfait plush. Not a ton. I mean, it's noticeable when they're side by side, but when I have them out on the table, I'll probably like have similar sizes together so that and wait till they sell before bringing out anything that's like of a distinctly different size, rather than having them all out at the same time. So I don't think it'll be all that noticeable. So here's first one done, and here's my skein. I'm doing center pull, so you won't be able to tell immediately, but I mean, it's got a little bit of hollowness to it, but it's still a good chunk of it left. So I'm thinking I'll probably get at least 2 more, maybe 4. I'm not 100% certain I'll get 4, but I think I will definitely get 3. So let me get to working on the next one, and I will check in when we're done with that. Okay, and we're back. So I got started on it and was making dinner while I was working on it, and then paused to eat dinner, and then finished it, and then paused to read a book to my kids. So that's 2 down in the Bernat Blanket Sand. And now we have a decidedly squishier, much more hollow looking skein of yarn. So I'm pretty sure I can get one more. I really don't think I'm going to get a 4th one out. So let's start with number 3. And that'll give me 5 total ones to make hats for that we can pick colors for next. And I'll be back when I'm finished with this one. Okay, last check-in for tonight. I managed to get the 3rd one done. So now I have 3 potential mushroom babies waiting on caps in the Bernat Sand, and then 2 more from the plush yarn. And this is what I have left of the sand. So clearly not enough for another mushroom baby. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with it. Not enough for much of anything. Maybe a baby Yoda. But that's all I'm going to do for tonight, because that thicker yarn has made my hands really hurt. So tomorrow we'll pick cap colors and finish this project. Hello. Okay, so I apologize for the weird angle. We were inside my yarn shed, and I just have you on a shelf in front of me. But I was coming out to pick colors for the mushrooms. I have 5, including the 2 that came from the Premier Plush. So I haven't decided for those 2 if I want to use the rest of the sage green color that I have for the mushroom tops. So it'll be all the same kind of materials. Although I'm going to have to use a different material for the undercolor of the cap and the ruffle anyway. So it may not matter. But anyway, I know for sure I want to do one in this sort of purple. It's like a speckledy purple. This came from the purple gradient cake. So this is part of like just about all that's left of that. So I know for sure I want to do one in purple. But I also want to do like other kinds of gradient, multicolor, varicolored yarns. So another option I have is some of this Premier Basics Chenille in Hummingbird. I have 4 skeins of this. So that would be fun. That'd be like super bright. So that's one option. Let me see, what else do I have in here in like fun variegated colors. I have more than you might think. I have a lot. Let's see. It's like I have whatever this from Bernat is. That would be a lot of different colors. So that's an option. If I want to stick with more neutrals, I have this one in Cuddles, which is browns and creams. And most of the other ones I have right now are neutrals. So, I mean, that could be an idea. I know for sure I want the purple. What else? What else? Yeah, I have some of this tie-dye-ish in this Himalayan salt color. So it's like a pink sea salt kind of colorway. So, maybe. This would be another one that's leaning more neutral than the bright colors. I have, let's see, I don't really want to use any of those. I have these more purpley toned, purpley red toned gradients. And I have this more pastel-y kind of pink gradient I could use. I didn't realize I had another whole skein of the purple gradient. I have whatever this mixed color is. I think this may have been one of the Bernat like colors of the year. I got it without a label at a thrift store that was selling a bunch of stuff. Here's another one that's kind of got more neutrally tones. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll stick with a few that are more neutrally tones. The purple. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. This purple gray tone, the straight purple one that I have. So that's a definite. Let's do the Himalayan salt. So that'll get us to 3 mushroom caps. Okay, so Himalayan salt. Bring one of those in to do mushroom cap with. And I could do multiples. I don't necessarily have to do 5 completely different colors. And I'm sure I'll do more mushroom people too, because I have a smaller skein of the Premier Basics Chenille in sand that I could also use for mushroom bodies. So there's always that option. And then I've also got this blue and yellow. I honestly don't know what to do with this. It's like teal and yellow and gray and cream. I don't know. I guess it's kind of sea creature. I'm not sure. I haven't decided what to do with this yet, honestly. A lot of this stuff I got, like I said, from a thrift store that had a really good deal on it. Some of it I got from Ollie's. Like this one is an Ollie's one. It's like purples and pinks and blues. I kind of like this one. I kind of have a theme going now with like neutrals and purples. Should I do the hummingbird though? Should I do at least one that's in that like bright tropical crazy coloring? Or should I not? Does that not work with mushroom? Would it then just be a poison mushroom? And is that okay? Should we have a poison mushroom? I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna go with the poison mushroom. So we got blue tones, purple tones, neutral tones, and then one super bright, crazy colored, probably poisonous mushroom. I think that's what we're gonna go for right now. So I'll get to working on these and I will check in with y'all later when I have something more to show you. So the next step for these guys is to sew the hats on like I've done with this one. And I've got those guys and those guys to work on. And then we'll work on the final step, which is the neck ruffle. Okay, and we are ready for the last step for these little mushroom guys, and that's their little neck collars. So I've made 8 of these to go with the 8 mushroom guys. I have to kind of rearrange them a little bit. You could probably just wrap them around their necks like this, but see, it turns into like a spiral, and I prefer it to be more like a ruffle. So I take it and like untwist it and refold it like this. So it winds up becoming more of this ruffle shape instead of the twist. So I'm gonna work on that with these 8 pieces, sew them around the necks of the little mushroom guys, and then show you the whole crew when they're all finished. All right, we have finally reached the end of this video. I have finally finished all of the mushroom boys. So I'm gonna start with the 2 that I made out of the last of my Premier Parfait plush. So I did wind up just doing the plush on the top for both of these. So they're both green top boys. They have a little bit of a popping mushroom effect with their hats, which I think is really fun. And then they have their little ruffle necks. So these are the 2 with the Parfait plush. And then next we had the burnout blanket in sand because we wanted to see how many we could get out of the sand. And that was 3. So here's one with a green, like a very emerald green sort of top. This one with a variegated peachy colored top. Fix this top. And then the third one was the one that had the hummingbird top. So that's the 3 sand of burnout blanket. Then I found some leftover skeins of burnout that I'm not even sure what they are. There's 2 different ones, and it was like just enough of a cake to make something out of. And I didn't have the labels with them, so I honestly have no idea what color they are. I think one of them is almond. I think this one might be almond. And I used this multicolored top for it. The other one is a very similar color, but if you look at them side by side, you can tell it's not quite the same, and also the texture is a little bit different. But I'm not sure what color this is, because like I said, I didn't have the label with it. And then I gave him a purple top. And then the final one, I had 1 skein of Premier Chenille Basics Brights, and it was in the color sand as well. And I was enough to get 1, and there was some left over that I could start a second one, but I couldn't get it all the way finished. And then he got this blue variegated color. So if you used the Premier Basics Brights, you would need 2 skeins of that to get probably 3 of these guys, because it's 1 and then a bunch left over. Not like a bunch, but enough to get you a pretty good start. I got all the limbs made and then realized I wasn't going to be able to finish it, so I set it aside until I could order some more of this color of the sand. So there we have it. That's 8. Let's see if I can get them all together in the shot. I might hit my microphone a little bit, and if I do, I apologize. Okay, so there's 3. 4. 5. The top don't want to stay down. 6. 7. I can't see. 8. There they all are. Oh my goodness, it's so many. Okay. Whew. That was a lot. All right, so I think I have 2 or 3 of these already made, so that'll put my total up to at least 10, which is kind of where I wanted to be with this. And my next goal is to get 10 of the little goblin ones made. So I need to see how many of those I already have made, probably 4 or 5, and then make enough to fill that in. And I think I'm gonna stick. I had tan. I know I have at least 1 in tan, and I have a couple in green and a couple in purple. So I'm gonna stick to more neutral colors with those, I think, because I think it just works better rather than the variegated. But that'll be in another video where I just kind of catch you guys up on what I've been making for this Ren Faire. So for this one, we got caught up on mushroom babies. I'll see you in the next one.